A lot of mad drama has happened the last, 72 hours, the past like 3 days. And I'm not here to address any of that, okay? I am here to address the absolute idiots on the internet and on Twitter who are trying to use some content creators' disagreement as some kind of representation of their whole character, which is insane. So we're gonna go through terms these people are throwing around and actually kind of educate these goddamn dumb fucks on the internet what these actually mean. Content creators, on the whole, do not know how to effectively debate, nor are they able to effectively and consistently recognize when they use logical fallacies in their own arguments, right? This goes for 90% of people that exist on the 99% of people that exist on the planet, right? Most of us have only ever argued with friends, family, and we have not had debate experience in a structured environment that like requires practice to get good at, right? Most of us have only ever argued with the people closest to us, right? So it is entirely unfair. It is entirely unfair for a whole community of people to then be like, oh, this person used a straw man argument. They must be a manipulator as a person, right? So it's entirely unfair to characterize someone's moral character as a person because of one or two logical fallacies they made about a debate on gacha games. Like, can we see how stupid that is? Can we all agree that that's fucking dumb? So when you drag 10,000 people into a live debate watching you when you are not a professional debater, you cannot assume what they say to be a representation of their moral character. That's the main point there, right? So the strawman fallacy is when you distort the other person's viewpoint and then you argue against that weaker version of the argument you have just made. Okay, you're essentially attacking the straw man. The straw man is the new argument you have presented that's a misrepresentation of their original point. Okay, that's what it is. So that's what a straw man is. Okay, you would be essentially attacking the straw man, and some people don't realize they do this because they think, oh, I'm still talking about their point, but you might not realize you're distorting the point that you're saying, and you're attacking something they're not actually referring to. So how can you distort someone's point? All right, you can oversimplify it. Because if you oversimplify someone's point, you can ignore the nuances in it, and you can't ignore nuances. You can exaggerate the point to make it sound worse than it is. You can exaggerate it, right? And you can rephrase it. You can end up rephrasing it in such a way that isn't true to their original point. So this is what a straw man is, okay? And I do this when arguing dumbasses on Discord. And straw manning can be a very effective debate tactic. You know, if you recognize that the other person won't know that you're straw manning them, you can lead the discussion and you can lead them down a path and get them to explain things that they never really said. And it's a thing. It's a genuine thing that people do. It's a genuine tactic in debates, right? That's a genuine tactic in debates. Should we have an example of straw manning? For oh my god, I actually called it for the elderly of this country. A straw man argument would then be, so you're saying you don't want to spend money for the sick and disabled. That's a straw man argument, right? You are misconstruing and misrepresenting their point, and then you're attacking it, even though that's not what they said. It has a line of the same meaning. It has a very slim slither of reasoning that's the same, and you're using that and misrepresenting what they're saying as some kind of point, right? If someone gives a long point and they've said quite a few things, and then you lead with the next point that you say with, so you're saying, you are about to generalize their point. You are about to generalize their point, right? If you try and summarize it, you've got to be so careful that you don't simplify what the other person is saying so much and then make a point against it. You can ask clarifying questions, right? You can ask clarifying questions. In political debates, that's what people do, right? In this situation, I really think putting more funding into our health services would do a great benefit for the elderly of this country. A leading question that the opposition could ask would be like, okay, can you explain how much funding you would like to put for the health system or health services? Then they respond. And then you'd be able to attack that point of like, oh, that's a absurd amount, or that's not enough money, like whatever it would be, right? You can question the line of reasoning with a valid clarifying question and then follow up with that. That would be a much more effective way of dealing with something like this than using a straw man argument. Do you see what I mean? Right? Generalize does not mean straw man. No, it's the oversimplification of someone's point and using that simplification to attack it, which does not represent the first person's original view. It's not, red herring isn't false evidence. I heard this is where you go to become a master debater. This is where you become a master beta legions. Welcome, right? Red herrings, okay? A red herring isn't like false evidence. Because you can lead a red herring with something that is true, but it's irrelevant to the point, right? So when you put forward a line of reasoning, irrelevant. That's the key. Irrelevant to the main point being discussed in order to divert your attention. Right? That's what a red herring is. When you put forward a line of reasoning that's irrelevant to the main point being discussed in order to divert attention. The point that you make as a red herring can be true, but it's a logical fallacy because it does not follow the main point. So the argument becomes invalid even though your red herring may be true because it's not the question being asked and it's not the line of reasoning that is being discussed. That's why red herrings are logical fallacy and you should disregard them, right? Games do all the time to trick viewers into thinking they know the plot to build up a giant plot twist. Exactly. On movies and everything, you see a killer holding a baseball bat and then they cut to a character that's in a baseball team, right? You think, oh no, is it the guy who's in the baseball team who's the killer, right? It's stuff like that, right? Also known as diversion, good way for comedy, not for debates. True. No, red herrings are used in debates all the time. Like, all of these logical fallacies are used in debates all the times. But you just don't necessarily hear the term red herring, right? Let's think of an example. Let's put this in gacha terms, right? Let me try and put this in gacha terms for everyone who might not be following, okay? Who might not be following, okay? So, a red herring. I could say, I think the combat in Wuthering Waves is trash. That's my point. That's my piece, right? I could say, I think the combat in Wuthering Waves is trash, right? Someone could be like, when I played Genshin, it could be like, you have it good. When I played Genshin, Genshit, the elemental system was awful. This is a red herring, okay? I think the combat Wuthering Waves is trash, and then you go, you have it good. When I played Genshin, the elemental system was awful. Like, you make a point. Your point can be true. Your point can be true. It's completely fucking irrelevant to the point being discussed. It's completely fucking irrelevant to the main point being discussed. This whole thing here is a red herring. It happened in the Harry Potter's Philosopher's Stone when it focused on Snape during the Quidditch match when Harry's broom was going haywire. Oh no, that's a red herring, but I'm talking about a red herring in an argument. This is a red herring in media. This is a red herring in media, in story. A red herring in an argument is just a point being discussed that is irrelevant to the main point. Right? It's a line of reasoning that doesn't follow the main point. Maybe use an example of the M-Tash Tectone thing. I precisely don't want to bring up examples from them. I'm not talking about M-Tash and Tectone. I'm not talking about M-Tash, Tectone, or Hex in this conversation about this. Because I'm not here to, like, call out people's logical fallacies like that. I'm not here to call shots at people like that. I'm here... I'm here to discuss terms that dumb fucks on the internet don't know how to use. Let's talk about appeal to popularity. This is also a logical fallacy that can happen. It's very simple. This is a very simple one, guys. Everyone says so, so it must be true. Everyone said so, so it must be true, guys. Right? Everyone said so, so it must be true. I think that's a very easy one. This one is everywhere. Yeah, don't let Trump strongman you. Trump is the... I love watching Trump because he uses every fucking logical fallacy that exists in debates. Strawmans, red herrings, appeal to popularity, ad hominems, appeal to ignorance. Like, he uses all of them. It's so funny. That's why I love watching Trump debate, because he uses every one of those tactics. And people who don't know how to deal with it, people who don't like... He does it continuously. Every point he makes is like a logical fallacy, and people don't know how to fucking like deal with him doing that. It's over and over and over again. It's so funny to watch. It's so funny to watch. I'll be so real. Like, he'll blatantly just say something that is not true about what you said, and you just sit there with your mouth open. Then you look like a dumb fuck, right? You look like a dumb fuck with your, like, mouth open. It's so funny. It's so funny. Streamer chats love to disagree with their streamer a lot of the time. They love to gang up on you, right? They love to gang up on you sometimes. But it's also the opposite, where they could totally agree with you and stand by your side, especially when you're in the middle of a debate with someone else. When you're in an argument with someone else, you have to expect that your chat is most likely going to side with you, right? No, we don't. What? Me? Never. Right? And it's very often or not, you'll have a bias and you'll see your chat and be like, well, they agree with me. Same way, you can appeal to emotion. You could appeal to emotion, right? Purely because you might feel a certain way about something is saying does not make that point invalid, right? I'm hurt by what you said. Therefore, you are wrong. That's what that is. I'm hurt by what you said, so you are wrong in the point that you are making. That's an appeal to emotion. It's a logical fallacy. Just because you feel hurt by something does not mean that the other person is wrong. I think we can all agree with this one, right? We can all agree. This is an unsound argument. This is an unsound argument, right? Let's talk about the appeal to ignorance. This is the big one. Let's talk about the appeal to ignorance. All right. The appeal to ignorance is me going, no one has proven what you have said to be true, so it must be false. And vice versa, right? So, no one has proven what you said to be true. So you must... I can't type today. Must be... So it must be false. I really can't type today. I'm so sorry. So it must be false. So it must be false. And vice versa. You can be like, no one has proven what you said is false, so it must be true, right? It can go both ways, right? Now this is the trickier one. This is a trickier one because, of course, you always want to make sure that when you give a point, you can provide as much evidence and as much detail and as much proof as possible, right? You have to make sure you provide your points as clear and with information as possible. But just because you don't have all the proof or evidence or whatever you have at the time does not mean that you are inherently wrong, and someone must not treat you as such. The only time when that is true, when it's not like a fallacious attempt, is like when you're in court, right? You have to provide evidence. Say I go to the police and I go, oh, so-and-so is a PDF file. I have to provide proof of my claims, right? That's a time when asking for proof is not a fallacious thing. Right? However, if you are saying to someone, right, that you can't provide proof, so therefore you're wrong, that is a logical fallacy. It is a fallacious argument, because just because they cannot provide it right in the moment does not make them untrue. And it is not correct and dishonest to behave as such, right? Can we agree with this? Cap can't say the word fellatio. Oh my god, I hate you guys. So no one has proven said to be true, right? It is not a lack of truth, but it is a lack of knowledge. The knowledge being the proof, right? The knowledge being, it is a lack of knowledge, right? It is fallacious. Is that spelled fallacious? I don't know. To assume someone, to assume or prove a point, if someone is right or wrong, just because you cannot see the proof, or proof being knowledge, or have the knowledge in the moment. And that is that's why it's called appeal to ignorance. It's not calling someone ignorant. Is like, you're not calling someone ignorant, you're ignorant of the knowledge that is not there, right? You're being ignorant of the knowledge that is not there, right? Just because someone can't prove it in the moment is not reason enough to completely dismiss their point. And it's very bad faith. It's an unfair tactic because it holds any sort of conversation, right? It's like if someone makes a point to me that's like, it's like someone goes, it's like if someone goes to me like, oh, the earth's flat. And I go, okay, prove it. It's like they can't prove it to me in the moment, but that doesn't mean what they're saying is necessarily true or untrue. You can still have a discussion, right? So using appeal to ignorance is a logical fallacy that people use all the time. He used it to invalidate people who made an opinion about the whole game based on barely an hours of gameplay. He did not invalidate people. If you are coming to a debate, you should probably prepare evidence for your talking points. No, absolutely. No, you should absolutely prepare evidence for your talking points, right? You should always make your points as clear as possible. But the appeal to ignorance is very much a real logical fallacy. You cannot show proof to absolutely everything in good faith and then assume just because they can't prove it, mean it to be true or untrue. The only thing you can do is just kind of like, it's just a neutral take. You can't be proven right or wrong just because of it. That's the difference, right? You can choose not to bring your proof and not your evidence. But if someone's like, show proof, just because they can't bring it doesn't mean they're wrong. Tectone said Jing Yuan sucks. Tectone said Jing Yuan sucks, so it must be true. Right? Tectone, who's a big figure in the gacha space, he said Jing Yuan sucks, so I trust his opinion, it must be true, right? Appeal to force? That's another one, right? Appeal to force. It could be like, you agree with me now, or I'm going to bomb your house. Right? I'm pretty sure that's an appeal to force, right? It's like a threat. It's kind of like a threat. It's basically like a threat. So, if you don't think Jing Yuan is mid, I will bomb your house, or I will get the government to bomb your house. If you don't think Jing Yuan is mid, I will bomb your house. That's the appeal to force, which is a logical fallacy because, okay, and you know, because no one takes Tectone's H-star opinion seriously. You know, people do. And I don't think Tectone has invalid opinions on Honkai Star Rail. I don't think that's a very fair thing to say. Does twisting words count as a debate tactic? Because that one got brought up a lot yesterday. If you are twisting someone's words, it most likely appeals to a logical fallacy. It really depends on what was said. Most of the time, if you're twisting someone's words, you're probably strawmanning them. Because if you're trying to generalize a point that they made and then refuting that point and using it against them, that is strawmanning. So that's why people used to say twisting my words a lot. Then people learn what strawmanning meant, and then they use that all the time. That's why that word has appeared more often, right? Okay, ad hominem. How do I spell ad hominem? Ad hominem. We've already been through strawmanning. I'm not going through it again. We were there for 10 minutes. Ad hominem. And ad hominem is simply it's a point you make against a person instead of their reasoning or their take or their opinion, right? So it's like If I say Ryuku Sensei said that Gion is great, I don't believe him because he smells. Ryuku Sensei smells, so I don't think I wanna believe his opinion. You know, that's an ad hominem, right? That's an ad hominem. It's a point made against the person instead of their reasoning. Like as soon as you attack a person for something, that is an ad hominem attack. I took a shower in the morning. Tong is wrong because he's bald. Yeah, that's an ad hominem. That's an ad hominem. It was 3 weeks ago, but it was in the morning. Fallacy of composition. And this one isn't talked about as much. This one isn't talked about as much, guys, okay? So just because one part of an opinion someone said may be true doesn't mean that it's true for everything, right? And you can't treat the whole as such, right? So let me type this out in a better way. When you argue that just because one piece of something is true doesn't mean it is also true for the whole, right? Just because a slice of an orange has a seed in it does not mean the whole orange is full of seeds. Do you understand that? Just because one orange does have a seed, the whole orange will, right? Should I put it in gacha terms? Just because Dill and Acheron are good characters does not mean they will work in a team. Do we understand? This is the fallacy of composition. So generalization, it's not generalization. It's saying that because I feel like you could say a lot of these fallacies are generalizations, but they're a very specific way of generalizing something. This is a very specific way of generalizing by picking out two pieces of a whole, saying it's true, then therefore inferring the whole thing is true. It's a generalization, yes, but it's done in a very specific way, and it's called the fallacy of composition. Like all of these are generalizations in some way or form, but there's a specific way that they work. You're generalizing the term generalizing what I mean. The ending of Penacony was good, so all of Penacony is good. Pikacony for the win. Exactly. Fucking exactly, Sensei. That's the best fucking example we've had today of a logical fallacy. Yeah, the ending of Penacony was really good, so I really give the whole 2.0 shit like a 10 out of 10. Like that is not that's a fallacy of composition. You can't say just because the ending was good means the whole thing was great. That's not a sound argument. That's not a sound argument. Like when a trans person is criminal and they label all trans people as criminals, exactly, right? They use it. This is used as social commentary all the fucking time. This is used in social commentary all the fucking time, and it's used every single day. And I truly hope people recognize it more and point it out. Because it's used so much in media, it's insane. They use it to clickbait you. They use it to rope you into stuff. They use it to push their like agendas on social issues. It's kind of crazy. It's like, oh, you know, this one immigrant's a criminal, therefore we should get rid of all the immigrants because they're all the same, right? Trump does that every fucking time, right? He does it all the time. He uses this logical fallacy literally every fucking day of his waking life. This is what I mean. Like, this is why I love watching him debate, because he uses all of this all the time. And people just like sit there with their mouths open when they see him talk, man. It's so good. Penacony fucking sucks. Come at me. I'll see you in my mentions. Bring it. When people say Fontaine is good, so Genji has a good story. Exactly. Exactly. And I really hope people point out that this is a logical fallacy. And it's unsound, and therefore people shouldn't believe them, or they shouldn't take their opinion as gospel. You know, the people should not take opinions as gospel, right? I've been talking for so fucking long, man. It's insane. I've been talking for so goddamn long. I fully understand that some of the examples I may have used impromptu are not the best. It's actually a lot harder than it looks to come up with examples, but I had such a great time talking with chat, and I've just had a really fun time streaming this past week. It's the most fun I've had in a long time, and I feel like I'm getting way more comfortable with it and talking with you guys. So if you want me to not come after your PP at night, 1, subscribe to this channel, and 2, come follow my Twitch. We have a lot of goddamn fun. And I can even, I'm losing my voice as I speak. I've been like yapping for like 100 hours this week. It's crazy. But I appreciate y'all. It's been so much fun. Like, so much fun.